What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the new gameplay that we got this morning. I thought this would be kind of fun talking about what I liked about it, and honestly, it's all like. I was going to say like and dislike. There's nothing I didn't like about what we saw. Maybe the only thing is that it wasn't fully uncut, right? It had some cuts to kind of get you from one location to the next, but that's because they had a schedule. They were trying to show some of Link's new abilities and how they're going to work and the scope of the world. So if I'm going to nitpick, I would say it wasn't 10 minutes of like uninterrupted gameplay, but it was pretty darn close, and what we saw was incredible. Let me start with the visuals. This looks like a certified banger, okay? You think about the Switch, and one of the things that probably comes to mind is the console, at the very tail end of its cycle, certain games, I guess, struggling on it, while other games do make it work, right? Like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is oftentimes looked at and said, look, there's no excuse for open world games like this, like a Pokemon, on the Switch to actually be bad, because if you know what you're doing with the system, with the specs, all that stuff, you can make an open world that looks fantastic. And I think Xenoblade Chronicles 3 proved that, while on the other side, you do have to admit, like, this is a console towards the tail end, and you could imagine what these games would maybe look like on a new set, a new generation of consoles, but that's just not what we're getting. Zelda looks freaking phenomenal. I mean, it looks so good. It's got its art style we've grown accustomed to over the last little while, and it just looks bigger and better, right? In terms of the visuals, the water, I talk about water a lot. I'm very impressed by the water. The scope, I mentioned that some of those things that they were doing with, those flying islands, and then they would kind of jump off of it, and, they just kind of showed that. I mean, they did that on purpose, I think, to show just how big. I mean, if you really look, right, as Link is falling and the camera's kind of twirling, now they say it in the video. They say, like, while you're falling, you can kind of take a look out into the environment, right? Pick your new destination. I mean, you really just look out, though, and you see everything. And it's like, holy God, the scope of this world is incredible. And then when you get closer to these things, right? I mean, games can do one thing good, maybe one thing bad. Maybe it looks good at a distance, but everything doesn't look so great when you get up close. This game looks great when you get up close to things, as well as being pulled away and kind of just seeing the whole thing. So visually, I don't think this is going to be an issue for the Switch. I think they know what they're doing. I think they're ready to optimize it. This is probably as good as you can get. I mean, I don't think you can force anything more than what this game is going to force out of the Switch. I think this is kind of going to max it out, but hey, that's the way it is. So you have all that. The abilities, I mean, I think they are phenomenal. I saw a lot of the comments on the Nintendo YouTube video talking about, other open world developers crying right now because now they're going to try to implement these things. Look, I don't play every open world game. I don't play every game kind of like this, so I don't know if maybe these mechanics have already been borrowed, but I just feel the idea of traversing the world using like a rewind feature, I think that's brilliant. I think that's really, really smart. And obviously games do have Life is Strange, one of my personal favorites of all time, comes to mind when it comes to, rewinding. But the idea that you can get to certain locations in this game by finding objects and saying, well, what if I rewind this and see where it came from? I think that's incredible. Even the fusion thing. I mean, now games have fusion, games have a way of combining weapons. Just seeing it in action in a game like this, the detail, right? I think that's really what they were going for. Again, I'm kind of assuming, but all the different blends of options that you have of attaching this to this, and this makes this weapon, and has this special ability, or you can fuse a mushroom to your shield and it'll create like a smoke bomb when it's struck. Like, you can just imagine, and I mean, that was a big theme, right? The things you can do in this game go beyond that. It's not just that. That's one of them, but there's more to it. And I love it. I don't even think I will do that much of it. I'm not really that kind of gamer where I'm going to experiment 500 times with all these different combinations. I'm really not like that, but there's people that are, right? And that's who it's for, and I think that's awesome. Same thing with like customizing vehicles, basically, right? Make a boat. Now make a boat that can also then fly. Make a cart, all this different stuff. It's insane. It's insane. And again, now they show a little bit of it, and then they kind of reference the trailer to say, hey, that flying, flying boat-like thing that was in the air, like a hover saucer kind of thing. You made that. That's not something that's just given to you. You have to create that. And now I get worried because I'm really bad at that stuff, okay? I'm like atrociously awful. So it's going to take some getting used to for me. I've been a fan, but I'm not like a super hardcore fan, I would say literally at all. But this, I'd say this 10-minute thing, I went from maybe like a 6 or 7 out of 10 in terms of like excitement. I'm there. Like I'm at a 10. I'm really, really excited. And all it really took is me to watch, 10 minutes of gameplay of this game. Even though, like I said, and I'm dead serious, like a lot of these features that they show, some of them I'll use, but some of them, a lot of the creation things, I probably won't even dabble with all that much. Oh, I want to just throw this in here. The going up, like the ascending and going like through a ceiling, if anything has a ceiling, you can go through it. I love that. I like scaling. I like the stamina, relation to it in these games, and even like a game like Chia that just came out, like it's very Zelda-like. So I do like doing it. I don't mind using stamina to like climb up everything and that being the way, but to have kind of a cheat to be able to say, okay, I don't want to do this, it's so tall, let me just do kind of like a cheat code, let me just go through its ceiling. I really, really love that as well. So overall, incredible. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you're all subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I'll see you all on the next one.